Hi, Mum, I'm on the table.
Hello, Chris. Yeah, carry on. Oh, I think we just show that. We're amateurs. Hello, everybody. It's Alex V. The League of Extraordinary Vapers are back again, and one's already licked it. Someone else is frozen. But we're back on the air. And Zicky's going for a toilet break. So we've got our usual panel. We've got Rabbit next to me, Chris next.
Vinny gone?
And Vinny flags. Yep, you got Chris, you got Paul down below, Rabbit to my right, Zippy's gone to the bog. Vinny's kind of gone
Vinny's just kind of
somewhere into the atmosphere somewhere.
Last minute kid interruption.
Zippy's updating his computer. The show is professional as always.
Yeah.
On the upside, we're actually on time. So, Rabbit, being you're next to Vinny, what are you using this week?
Okay, so hey guys, how you doing? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Tonight I'm using my Cold Steel. It's by EH Pro with a tank on it, and it's filled up with some strawberry cereal by Final Boss Vapes. It's called Red Falcon, and I actually got more than one mod tonight. I'm also on my Mech Life mod with my M-Turk V2, dripping some Prohibition riding shotgun. This stuff is amazing. Really good cookie flavor. And that's it for me.
Okay, Zip, what are you on tonight, mate?
Tonight I'm using a grip with the flat line and half moon one stick. And I'm going for a swank tonight. So I've got a half moon swank.
That's nice. I like the colours on that.
Titanium Redemption. And I've got some Electro Vape Goth on the go.
Okay.
And some thick oil. So
I'm
enjoying
that one.
I'm giving the Stormbreaker a sort of bit of a rest. So that's actually right. There you go.
Hi guys. So yeah, tonight I've got a couple of mods on the go. So first one, on Boogie again. I'm using Maximum IDA with Berserker, called Half Moon Tiffany on top. Then next, I'm on the big boy Philly Tech mod with the EP3, of course, Half Moon there as well. And then finally, the last shiny that I'm on, and this one is shiny.
Oh, nice. That is
disco ball. I love it.
I was gonna say it's like a disco ball.
Yeah.
Golden disco ball.
Bling bling.
Bling.
Apocalypse and half moon up top. Well, choose one. So I'm on Free Squad AOL, just like a black front lemonade. Nice. And Cherry Chiller Fizz. Again,
I like the label on that.
Yeah, they've got a whole range of these, and this cherry one, I just can't put it down. It's amazing.
You have to bring
I've not actually tried the cherry flavoured vape yet.
Oh, I'll bring this one with me to Expo. You'll like this one. Really good.
Right, Vin,
Yeah, on tonight.
I'm on my overpowered as always, my tiny little thing. That I'm vaping on my usual drip axe with Blood of Vikings, which is a rhubarb and custard. It's not quite been steeped to its full, but I couldn't resist any longer. It was calling me. I've brought along with me this week a very special old mod that of mine. I will explain why it's special in a sec, but it's my Tesla Invader 3. The reason why it's special, very old, as you can see, it's pretty much battered. But it was the first mod that my wife bought me after I had bought the Coolfire 4. Is when I started to actually get into RDAs and actually start to learn my arms laws. and it was very cheap, and it's still going to this day, and it's been dropped, it's been kicked by mistake many a times. It's had a rough life, but it's still going.
Yeah, it looks like it's been remote.
Yeah, it looks like a proper beater, doesn't it? That one.
Yeah,
It's just the door. I could easily primer it, respray it, and it's as good as new. But it shows age. It's it's like a bit of antiques in the vape world.
Mate, I've still got my old Cigali 150 TC, which I've got through a mate of mine, and I've dropped it. I've literally nailed that thing, and it's still going all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know with my RX 200, that's still keeps going.
Oh, I love my RX 200. Sorry, I think I did.
Reliable mod.
What are you vaping on anyway this week?
We're all done. We're waiting on you.
Yeah.
Is it me now, is it?
It's your turn now.
Yeah, I've vanished. So I'm back again. Hello, everybody. I'm on my Immortal Pregnant with limited edition APOC 25 with customary harpoon mod drip tip. On there, I've got some chicken shop deep fried donut with jam. And I've got something a little bit new, the Smock RPM pod kit. And on there, I've got some Chemical Crown Nick salts, which I'm testing for them. That's it for me tonight, just the two.
Oh, I did forget one mod I'm using as well. My other shiny one.
Oh, dear. Very nice.
I really want one of them. I was using that at the last expo. I think it was Andy's I was using. And I'm not joking you, that thing hit. That was a really great mod.
Oh, yeah. It is. I've got two.
Right then.
You say you got two?
Yeah.
I think, as Rabbit has now joined us as a permanent member, firstly, welcome to the club.
Thank you, guys.
I reckon you should kick off tonight's first topic, mate. So over to you.
Okay, so I'm not sure what to get into first. I actually decided to just kind of go like freestyle tonight and maybe talk about some of the things going on over here and see what maybe y'all thought about it. So we did have a little bit of positive news this week in Dawsonville, Georgia. They actually had a large turnout of vapers and advocates at the courthouse while they were trying to push the flavor ban through, and they actually got it tabled, and then they went back. I think it was like 2 days or a day later, and they actually beat the flavor ban. So that was a really positive movement for us. And we're getting a lot of really good feedback from American doctors, people that are doing stuff on CBS and Fox News, and just trying to get the word out there, to educate more and more people and let them know the facts that it's not, that just because some people got hurt, putting certain things into a vape does not mean all vaping is bad. That's kind of the problem is it's changing that stigma, and we're trying to adjust that stigma so people realize, listen, not all of us put, drugs in vapes. Just because somebody got hurt on a vape doesn't mean we all use that. So that's kind of been the goal, is to focus on trying to get that stigma back to where it's supposed to be. Because we know it's safer. We know it's healthier than smoking. We know it's a great alternative. So we need to try to get that stigma reversed, if you would. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
And I think to a degree that's working. I think a lot of the advocacy that's been done the last month, especially, has really sort of brought that to the forefront.
And honestly, I think the more that we educate people, maybe, and I'm not talking just Facebook, like I've been talking to delivery drivers, people at gas stations, like every single person I can run into, whether they vape or not, I'm talking to about vaping constantly. Every person that walks in the shop, they get an education on what's going on and the truth about vaping, and not to fall for the stuff that's in the media. So it's stressful. I'm definitely feeling the stress from it, but I feel like it's something that has to be done. Like we absolutely have to keep pushing forward and keep educating people. I think that's our only hope at this point is to change public opinion back on our side, and that's what we need.
That's the big struggle. It's educating the public. Never mind the politicians and everything else like that. It's the public that need to get educated basically around the pros of vaping. Rather
the good thing is, I mean,
bullshit
forward now and actually admitting it was THC and stuff like that, you know. So hats off to them. You know what I mean? Fair play to them for doing it. So, you know, we can only say thank you to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that actually came clear.
So, you know, big up to them. But, you know, hopefully now that that's happening, we're starting to see more and more in the way of positive stuff coming through. You know, hopefully now sort of people will start listening, you know, these powers that will start listening, and, you know, we can sort of get past this now.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm actually in the process of trying to plan a small rally for my area. I'm trying to get a hold of as many shop owners as I can. I'm going to try to get. I got a buddy that does. What do you call it? He owns a print shop, so he's printing flyers, and I'm going to try to get him in every shop possible. We're trying to get as many people to this rally as we can, and it's not like a protest. It's more like an education rally. It's like as many vape shop owners and people that have been in the industry a long time, like I have, can stand up and actually talk to the people and get more information so they can see, listen, like this is what's actually going on, and this is what our media is telling us is going on. We need to focus on what's actually going on.
It's like the same for those that have like saw the win, so to speak, in certain areas and feel like, oh, we can start to pull back. It's no, I wouldn't do that. Actually, now's the time to actually push further and harder.
Yeah, we got to keep going, man. We can't afford to be and, you know, getting complacent, thinking, you know, oh, well, one win, you know, that's not a win. That's just a stepping stone. You know, we've got to keep going. You know, we can't.
And I want to address two of the commenters, Tracy and Ken. Y'all are absolutely correct. It's super easy for the media to post something negative and not actually tell the whole story. I think we become a generation of headline readers, like, and I'm guilty of it too. Yeah. And the problem is, all of us are in a hurry. I mean, that's kind of how we are now. We're just in a hurry. So when you're spinning through stuff and you see a headline that says 6 people died or 8 people died from vaping, then the first thing is, oh my Lord, and then you go past it. You don't actually click on it and start reading it.
No, you just look at the next headline.
Yes, just basically media has completely turned a 360 or a 180, and now it's strictly just clickbait. Like, it's not actual media anymore. Like, I honestly believe the media in the U.S. died in the late 80s, maybe 90s. Like, once it became like clickbait, to where it was just trying to see how many views we can get and build our popularity. And now it's all about headlines. No one cares about the actual story. So that's what we're battling with, is trying to get the real story out there.
Yeah, and if you notice as well, a lot of these articles that are on like social media now, it's not until you actually get like 2 or 3 paragraphs into the article itself where it actually explains what happened to these people. It's like, well, you know, you've got this massive long article. The first thing you put on is someone died due to vaping, and then you don't actually explain what happened to them for at least 150 characters. It's like, what's going on?
I like them pages where it goes, you get like a little paragraph, then you get the next page. You get to about 10 pages, and you're like, hang on, what? You know, people get bored. That's what they rely on, people to get bored.
Dude, the post at the CDC, I think it wasn't the CDC. The CDC actually did the testing, but they released some article, and I think it was like Fox or CBS. It was one of the big news stations, and they released it, and the headline says, "Vaping kills 6 people in the U.S." And that was the headline. Yeah, and I actually, obviously, because I'm in the industry, I'm going to, read it. So I click on it and I start reading it, and it doesn't tell you the actual facts until you're like to the 4th or 5th paragraph.
Yeah.
It's so far down. No one's actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, who actually takes the time to read 4 to 5 paragraphs? people.
Exactly.
It's insanity of what's going on with the media right now.
Rabbit, there's some support there for you. I'm just trying to track through. It's somebody from your side of the pond. I don't think I've got the comment yet.
Yeah, Chris. Who's Chris?
Yeah. Just bear with me. There you go. It's,
oh, absolutely. Yeah, Chris, I'll shoot you a message this week, Chris, and get with you. And I want to get as many people as possible. I think it'd be a really good thing to just get as many local people, vapers, even non-vapers, friends of vapers, just anyone we can pack this place with and just get information out there, tell our stories, let people know the truth about what's actually going on, and hopefully help turn to a positive note and get away from this negative note.
Yeah. It needs doing desperately. It does need doing.
Evening, Andy. Are you with us?
Doing? Can you see
Hello.
me?
Nice to join us.
Magombe,
Yeah, having a few technical difficulties here, unfortunately, but here I am. I'm having to use my mobile. For some reason, my computer's decided it wanted to do an update 10 minutes before the show. So, yeah.
It's really quiet, Andy.
We've actually been able to speak.
You've been able to speak?
You're really quiet, so you have to lean in a bit.
Well, I'm really pleased for you, Chris, but not for everybody else. So, you know. Oh, Matt Gumber's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come back. No, unfortunately, I didn't.
Special last night. Was that the India one, or was that another one, Gumber?
No,
I've seen his India one.
I think this was the one where he was explaining about the latest with the MSA money and stuff like that. I do believe it was that one last night. To be honest, I skimmed through it, but I can't really listen to the bloke because it's one of them.
I watched about 10 minutes of it.
I just want someone to actually put their figures properly across, not like with what happened the other night. But enough said.
So honestly, I think that for the majority of vapers right now, US, UK, all over Europe, I mean, basically all over the world, I think the majority of us see what's going on at this point. I think we know because of the fact that you have the information out there, you have the facts, and for some reason, they're not publishing that stuff. Like it's harder and harder to get that stuff out there. So we've actually been dealing with some stuff on our Facebook too. Like a lot of us, we're noticing that on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. The more and more we post, the quicker stuff starts to get deleted, or we get blocked, or we get banned, or you know what I'm saying? It's almost like the more you try to push the truth, the more they're going to keep an eye on you. It's kind of scary, to be honest. Like it's crazy that
censorship going on there. That's basically what that is. It's censorship and trying to mute you to make sure you're not heard. Yeah. It's quite a sad state of affairs, really, when you can't speak the truth and be open through social media.
Well, it doesn't go with their agenda, does it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's directly opposing their agenda, and they're just trying to shut everybody's voice down. But we won't be silenced. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's going to be like a game of whack-a-mole. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like every time they try and push us down, we're just going to pop back right up again, come right back in their face every single time. We will not give up. And that's that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, they can carry on trying to shut us down. They've been trying to shut us down for ages. But, you know, and I don't know whether you've actually discussed this already, but, I mean, who was that? Was it a senator or a governor? The guy that said vaping is safer than smoking. But so what?
Governor of New York.
Yeah.
Right. He needs locking up for that. As far as I'm concerned, that was an absolute disgrace. I mean, you know, I've seen some really terrible stuff in the past, like from politicians, you know, trying to push their own agenda and stuff. But that was just unreal. You know, I just could not believe the stones on this guy going on. You know what I mean? Actually going on there and saying that. And the attitude of the other people as well at the hearings and stuff, like with when Matthew Elliott was there, do you know what I mean? And he was talking, and they all sat there on their phones, and you know, they're not even paying attention.
Dude,
That just tells me
there was one guy playing the game, wasn't there?
Well, yeah,
He was there playing the game on his iPhone.
That to me was a complete farce. The decision had been made well before them doors opened. Everybody got there. That was a done deal. That was.
I mean, okay, so people have been saying stuff like, you know, Zuckerberg is one of Trump's main campaign donators and stuff like this, you know, so maybe he's getting. Do you know what I mean? Like, it all seems pretty convenient the way that the whole thing on Facebook with them trying to shut the vaping groups down on Facebook all comes in like a week before. Do you know what I mean? Literally a week before all of this bullshit starts happening. And, you know, like, I don't really believe in coincidences. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially not when they've got implications like this, you know? Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, I just really, for once, I am lost for words because
we all said last week, this is just summer. This is a diversion tactic. Yeah, this is more than just vaping. This is on a different level. To cause the outrage that they have and the way they have done things, you know, this is democratic level. This is, you know, it's not just a flavour, man. And that's one thing that people need to remember. You know, I've seen some people getting a bit, you know, oh, I've had enough of all the what's it this week. And it's like, you know what? It's got to be done. This is more, this is bigger than anybody thinks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this now, and I don't care about what sort of repercussions I get for it. I really don't give a shit. But Jay Hayes a couple of weeks ago did a live, right? And it was the title of it was, "It's confirmed, I've been diagnosed, I'm out." Okay? Yeah. And it was clickbait. And then when he went on there, he actually said, "Fuck advocacy, nobody cares." Yeah. Fuck advocacy, nobody cares. This is all boring. Nobody gives a shit about it. But then suddenly, there's this going on in New Jersey, which is where he is, right? He takes that video down, and he's on every day now doing a live crying about advocacy. Well, guess what? You know what I'm saying? Like, if he'd have actually used that in the first place, that kind of energy, that kind of audience that this guy's got, if he'd have used that to put a positive message across, then do you know what? Maybe this wouldn't be happening. I'm not blaming Jay Hayes for it, but I'm certainly not going to give that dude any sympathy. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I was absolutely outside. I was blown away by him actually saying that. A vapor who is so well known, you know, and, you know, he is seen as an influential person in the vape industry, not by me. You know, I you know what I mean? I'm not influenced by anything he says, but I watch his videos a lot, and I just find it really hypocritical that he took it down. You know, he's took that down, and now he's completely changed his tune because it's actually affecting him. He never thought it would affect him, and now it is. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know,
has anyone actually seen?
Everybody needs to be pulling together. Everybody needs to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Not just when it suits them. You know.
Has anyone actually seen them cigarettes that are going around? The picture of them cigarettes going around with the stupid colour that. I'm thinking that's just a load of BS. Personally, I know in certain parts of America or in America you can get a flavoured Marlboro, but I did a little research on that specific one going round.
Yeah, but have you noticed the timing of that?
Yeah.
You know, suddenly, and I put a post up in a group yesterday, and I said, man, you know what, I had a principle, so I'm not going to put a picture up about it, but what I will say is that shit needs to be stopped, because that everybody who shares that is giving a free marketing to tobacco, and right now, not what basically. That's an infiltration of our community.
Hey, something about that is as well. I saw your post where you put it up as well, and then scroll down 3 comments, and bam, there was that picture. And like, really? And then once again, it's been shared about 4 times in the same group. And like, You're just giving it to them now. You're just saying, look, this is what they can do.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So,
Yeah.
So I want to say something about one of the comments about the one you just posted up. A lot of Desmond, the last one Desmond did. That is spot on. I've actually dealt with this a little bit personally, and a couple. I mean, most of you guys on here know I've been doing this a long time, like a long time. I work with a lot of large companies doing promotions and all kinds of stuff. That is the farthest thing on my mind right now. Like, I've actually lost like 4 sponsors that I used for. I'm not going to name them, but I'm saying because I couldn't post. But I'm not going to. Listen, if you're focused on Vape Famous right now, you can't have Vape Famous without Vape. It just doesn't work. You're not going to be just famous. Like, it doesn't work that way. If you were going to be just famous, you'd be there. Like, you don't get Vape Famous without Vape. So all these guys that are worried about sponsors and I got to make sure all my posts are done and stuff like that, and you're not fighting alongside that, you should not be in this industry. We need to be fighting, every one of us right now, together as a family, as a unit.
Yeah.
Pushing positivity, pushing the truth. We got to stop. And that's another thing I got to get into. We have to stop spreading their propaganda. Even if you do comment at the top, look at this bullshit, or this is some bullshit, or fuck this shit. Like, none of that matters, because when they see your post, they're not reading that. They're reading the big ass picture underneath it, or they're reading the freaking link that you shared that shows up, and they go, "Oh man, vaping killed people." Like, that's all they're seeing. Stop sharing propaganda. Spread facts. Find the truth about vaping, what's really going on, and spread that. Stay away from the lies and propaganda. You're just helping them push it.
The thing is, teams that have never, while this has been going on, from the minute this started, all the teams that I might have turned around and said, I don't want to see any post apart from it advocacy. At the end of the day, if you're on a team now and they're saying to you, you've got to make your 3 posts a week. Nah, that ain't the team to be on.
No.
Exactly.
No, because at the end of the day, if this happens, there's not going to be anything to rep for them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of stupid. I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of people and they're still doing special offers and discounts and this and that and the other. And, you know, and these are the people as well. I'm not seeing doing anything. I like some of these people, they're literally just so self-absorbed that they're just like either trying to think, I need to move as much of this inventory that I'm not going to be able to sell because they've already given up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so they're just trying to get as much money as they can back in before it all goes down the toilet. But really, if they just carried the fight on and actually put some effort into it, then, you know, it's going to save their team. It's going to save their it's going to save their company. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I said last week. You know, it fits exactly with what I said last week. You know, if they start banning one aspect of vaping and the whole deck of cards comes down, you know, then the little mod that they like so much is going to vanish. They're going to give a shit. You know, that's the problem. They're not going to do it until they start seeing their stuff that they like.
So at one point, I want to clear up this week, right? Now, I see people doing the cloud checks and everything. Yeah, fine. Absolutely, totally. Go for it. I made a post this week and I turned around and says, look, you know, now's the time we should be all standing together. You know, every cloud check, you know, whatever that's put into a group is an advocacy post lost. Now, I had somebody say to me, you know, oh, I'm a bit fed up with the negativity and stuff and all these posts going around. And I turned around and I went, you know what? It's negative because people are losing their livelihoods.
Yeah.
People are losing, you know, families are looking at home, being made homeless because they're not going to be able to pay bills. And if that's negativity, too negative for you, you know. But like I says afterwards, I was like, you know what? If you're going to do a cloud check, how about you call somebody out on the group, ask them their story, explain your story. call them out and ask, why are you in vaping?
Yeah.
And see how many people can get that done. Add a hashtag vaping saves lives, to your post. It's not against any rules. It's still putting a positive turn on it. It's easy enough.
I want to say something about what Steve.
I'm going to hop out and rejoin.
Okay, brother. Yeah, the real Stevie J, he's dead on. I mean, that's true. We do need to let people know what the enemy's doing. But I feel like if we're sharing the post, we need to try to get people to interact with the real post. And then if they don't know what's going on, send them a private message. Like, get a hold of them and let them know, hey, this is what's really going on. I just think posting it's a bad look. I think it's helping get the negative stuff out there, and we need to be fighting with the positive stuff, the facts and the truth.
The thing is, advocacy isn't just a post. Advocacy is educating. Advocacy is going out, finding people. Use the connections that you've got. Pass word around. Word of mouth travels quicker than anything else that you can think of. And that's going to do it. I've seen people this week that are genuinely worried about vaping. It's like, you know what? And I've shown them these, the facts and stuff like that on my phone. And they've been, you know what? You've put my mind at rest this week.
Same. I mean, I've about 3 or 4 people at work come and ask me about it. They said, have you seen what's going on in the news? I said, yeah, of course. And then I've gone through it and I've explained to them exactly what's gone on. And they're like, I wasn't expecting it to be like that much, in depth, what's going on and everything. So it's like people have seen it still, and they're still not understanding exactly what's happening, because the information that we're giving to people is either going in one ear and out the other, or they're just believing the media bullshit that comes with it, and they're just going along with it. And I think that's the big problem. You need to get one of the media outlets to actually go with the truth and explain it to people better. Get a shop or anybody and say, right, let's go. I
will give mention to Legion of Vapers for last night's this early hours this morning. And Danielle was it that was on there? The young lady,
very good.
Used the THC cards.
Yeah.
And she came on and she turned around and she was like, this is what it was. Now, that was for medicinal purposes. But unfortunately, she had to go down the route to have to get these, black market ones. And unfortunately, thankfully, she's doing well. So I'd first like to say thank you to Danielle for being bold enough to come onto the show and do that. And I hope that they do see it and do see it, she can get the chance to put that forward to, in front of this runner.
Yeah, I'm just getting a bit of feedback here.
Yeah, sorry. I was actually reading the comment.
Desmond. Desmond says, so they ban flavours. Are they going to ban flavours in chocolate next? But what about flavours in alcohol? Flavours in cigarettes?
But the problem you got to be careful is with that. That's a whole different point.
Comparing.
It's one that we're not gonna. We can't afford to get into that right now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be looking at is saving these.
Yes.
No, he's just pointing out they're banning the flavour in a juice that is harmless, but then they'll allow other things that cigarettes.
It's so.
Rabbit, I've got a question for you while everyone else is talking over everyone.
You're talking about markets that are heavily regulated anyway. They're already heavily regulated, and this is one of the things they're saying is that the vape industry's not. So, do you know what I'm saying? It's one of them things that's kind of a bit of a moot point in a way, although I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it goes the same as, we all know how dangerous cigarettes are, but they ain't banning the cigarettes. Do you know what I'm saying? So, we can go on and on and on, but that's switching focus of what the real issue is. And the real issue is the fake news, the propaganda, and just this general corrupt bullshit that's going on. It's just unbelievable. You know,
that's the point that I was trying to make. And you know, as the real Stevie Yates said, it is a freedom that is being attacked, the freedom of choice. Damn straight.
Yeah.
You know, like I said last week, if I hadn't watched that New York little hearing, I would, and somebody had said to me about what it was, I would never have believed them. Having seen that with my own eyes, man, of how blinkered and blatantly disrespectful to truth that people were to do what they did. This is unlawful. It's unethical.
You've got 30 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm done. We vape, we vote.
Yeah.
Damn straight, man.
Rabbit, I don't know much about the politics in America, but these state governors that are bringing these bans in, can they basically try and ban anything they want?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. So me and my wife actually did some research into this. They're actually going against quite a few quite a few of our liberties that were basically given to us when we became a country, when they signed the Constitution. So in the Constitution, we have, you know, all these different clauses, all these different things that give us Americans our freedom. So you have, you know, your freedom of speech, your freedom to bear arms, you know, all these different things.
Yeah.
So from the research that we did, I think we found 4 or 5 different things that goes against that, like completely against that. And I think that in Michigan and in New York right now, there are a whole bunch of litigation going on because of it. So I think there's a lot of states that are stepping up and talking about this and trying to push it into effect. But I think that because of the way that they did it in New York and in Michigan, it might actually help us for a little bit. I think it's going to help people, you know, I think it's going to help give us a little bit more ground. So they're going to have to push into actually, you know, testing and looking into things. They have to have facts. Like when you go to court, they're going to have facts. And that's going to help us because the more facts they find out, the more they find out they're lying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's good for us. The more digging, the more facts, the more testing they do, that's good for us. That's what we need. Like we need them testing. We need them looking up stuff. Like we need all of that.
Hello, Jay. That's one of the points I've been trying to make this week. We're not against being regulated. We're not against, you know, having things tested. We want that. You know, nobody wants it. Well, we want to know the stuff that we're using is safe. We want to know that device that we're going to have is safe. Yeah. You know, all we're asking for is it's got to be done fairly. You know, we want to work with people. We want to work with these establishments. We're not here to fight them.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. We have to come together.
You know, everything they're standing for, you know, this crap of the kids appeal and all this, that, and the other. We're trying to stamp that out in our community. You know, this is why all our groups are 18 plus, 19 plus. Every single person that comes into our groups. You know, if we see a shop that's selling to underage, we will report them. You know, we will name and shame. We're not bothered about that because we believe in what we're doing. You know, and this is what I can, you know, it's just so frustrating the fact that they will not listen. But they would rather just turn around and rip families apart. You know, X amount of people back on the employment line.
And that's basically what it's boiling down to, honestly. I mean, everyone's focused on, you know, okay, so kids are getting it, so let's work on, you know, getting it away from the kids, and you know, people are dying with the black market THC cartridges, so it must be all of vaping. Like the thing is, they've been coming at us for years. Like they've been sitting back waiting on that moment, and I believe that when it started with the black market cartridges, I think that was them going, oh shit, here's our chance. Like they saw an opportunity, so they start pulling their strings. I mean, this is super simple. It comes down to the fact that vaping is growing too fast in the U.S. we're causing them to recognize us too quickly. They see that we're causing loss for them, which is helping people here, and they're looking for any opportunity to come at us. So now we got some guys that are using illicit drugs in the same delivery system that we use for our healthier alternative. So they say, oh, here we go. Now we have an opportunity. So let's jump on top of these guys and squash them out before they're too big to fight back. That's basically what it is. So as a 40-year-old American citizen, they're telling me now that, hey, guys, you don't have a right to choose flavors. I'm sorry, but they're killing kids or they're killing people or whatever. Listen, I've been vaping for over 6 years. None of my flavors have killed. You know what I'm saying? Like I vape premium juice. I haven't vaped anything illicit, and I'm perfectly healthy. I'm in the best health of my life. Like I don't want everything you're saying. I know is false. I know it. So the only thing we can do is help educate the people that don't know. Like that's all we can do.
Yeah. And you know, I do agree with Montgomery to a certain extent. They will not listen, but we can't afford to give up on that. You know, while there's one state that turns around and says, "No, we're not going to do this," that's you know a stepping stone for us to build on. You know, we've started with a foundation now with one state. Hopefully, that can carry on.
Yeah, and Ryan just freaking nailed it. Like nailed it. That is the biggest drug on the planet right now is greed. So many people are addicted with greed that we've proven for a fact that we can help people get off cigarettes and find a healthier alternative. We have proven that if you don't if you don't want to keep vaping, you don't have to. We can work you down on the nicotine and get it to where you can stop vaping. No one's selling you on vape for the rest of your life. The whole purpose is to get you off cigarettes. If you can get off everything, then that's the goal. But the problem is we don't make $100 billion a year in the U.S. in the vape industry. Because if we did, then they could tax the shit out of us and they'd be fine with it. The problem is Big Tobacco made $100 billion last year. $100 billion. That's with a B. How do you compete with that?
Well, you can't. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just, you know, it's like a David and Goliath type situation at the moment, you know, and with the people in the vape industry being so divided in certain ways, then, you know, I can't really see, you know, people just need to come together and just all fight this off the same hymn sheet, you know. Like I say, everybody needs to be pulling in the same direction, but they're not. You know, I've seen lots and lots of people pushing for advocacy, but they're pushing in vape groups. Now, that's just preaching to the converted. It's the general public that we need to, you know what I mean, the non-vapers that vote. They're the people that we need to actually educate on this stuff. You know, and I just think that, I mean, I mentioned this to Zippy in a private conversation, and I said to him that, you know, maybe if some of the bigger vape companies or even some of the smaller ones, maybe if everybody clubbed together, started donating to politicians' campaigns, you know what I mean, and then employed a lobbyist, to go around and whip some votes up for the vaping industry, then maybe that'd help. You know, because that's basically the way that everything works, right? Within the American government and the donations and stuff, you know, you have lobbyists for the energy sector, for big tobacco, you know, and sorry, what's that? Rabbit, that's a false argument. The vape industry in the EU still managed to win against the TPD. The money argument in advocacy does not hold water.
Maybe there was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I don't understand that comment. No, I'm not arguing that advocacy doesn't work. I'm sure as hell not arguing that. Everyone on this panel can tell you that. I fight 24/7. What I'm saying is money is what's fueling this fire. That's why we're being attacked. Like we're being attacked because they're losing money. They see an opportunity to squash an industry in the US that they got, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's greed. Like I think give me a second. Y'all talk about the greed for a minute. I'm going to pull up these numbers real quick cuz I have it somewhere.
I'm sorry, but after that New York conference, it was clearly, blatantly, obviously, that it was greed and corruption at the highest level.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same in the UK. You know, the cigarettes, the majority of the money in it is actually taxes that go to the government. But because in the UK we don't have private healthcare as a whole, we've got the NHS. Yeah. It's a completely different kettle of fish over here. You know, it's completely different because the way our government sees it is it's 95% safer than smoking. So there's going to be 95% less smoking related illnesses and disease and stuff like that. And, you know, and that, so it's going to be offset. The ballot, do you know what I mean? The money they lose in the tax dollars is going to be saved with our public health, you know. So
smoking related illnesses cost the NHS 2.5 billion last year. So there you go.
I mean, you know,
exactly. You don't want people in the hospital here, you know, because they're not going to make money off them as such, like they do in America, you know.
And that's where it comes back. You know, if they regulated it fairly, and what they were asking was fair, more of these, you know, the vape industry can turn around and put that money back. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not going to be the full amounts and everything, but we will make a contribution. You know, just understand that, you know, you can't charge us what you're charging tobacco. It's never going to.
So.
It's never been vaping my shoes constant.
So I pulled up a little information that I had saved. So in 2018, the tobacco industry in sales alone was close to $100 billion. That's with a B, $1 billion. Yeah. The vaping industry was just under four. Like out 100, 4. So if that right there should explain the greed. So they saw us rise in 6 years, this massive growth in the US. Like it came from flea markets to meeting a buddy that mixed juice in a parking lot somewhere, and then all of a sudden a shop would pop up here, and then you got 3, and then you got 15, and now we got 50 something in our area. Like we watched this massive grow in 6 years. But they can see it too. So they see that and they're projecting, well, what's going to happen in 10? What's going to happen in the next 15? They're going to get so big that they're going to actually be able to cut into that and help people get off of these things. That's what they're scared of. This all boils down to the fact that they don't like that we're growing so fast. So they see an opportunity to help stomp that out. So they're going to jump on it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and on the original live where Donald Trump actually said about it, first of all, he actually said his own words. I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. He actually said, you know, vaping's made a lot of money in a very short amount of time, you know, and he said, has created jobs for stuff. And, you know, and he's all about that, you know, and helping the economy. And, you know, and that to me says that, you know, Donald Trump himself might be kind of sat on the fence about it. I don't know. And he's just trying to look out and he wants more information. But then he's getting so much pressure from everybody that, you know, he's had to actually look into it. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Donald Trump or his stance on anything. I really not, you know. But what I will say is that the first live that he did when he announced it, it was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Ambiguous. You know, he didn't really, you know, he seemed to be like, let's have a look, you know, let's get some more information. Let's find out what's actually going on. You know, and then he kind of walked back his original statement then a few days later after he'd been getting hammered on Twitter. And, you know, and he kind of said he wants there to be a safer alternative than smoking. But, you know, we've got to do something, you know, whatever it was, we've got to make it safe for our kids. How about the parents make their kids not, you know what I mean? Like keep control of their kids. How about that? How about parents actually be held accountable, or hold themselves accountable for what they're actually doing? Because the way I see it is there's a lot of passing the buck here. There's a lot of blame shifting, and you know, and let's be real. We're not talking about vaping nicotine, like with all of this bullshit propaganda. I watched the video of I can't remember the guy's name. He was one of the guys that was put into a medically induced coma.
And you know, he come out and he was actually did a video earlier on, which was like a live stream or whatever. And I watched that, and he actually said he'd been using the THC carts for 4 years and they'd never had a problem. He bought one cart off the street, and literally from that one cart, he felt straight away, you know, and it sounded like he had a frog in his throat, and you know, he sounded all hoarse and everything. And then, you know, it was literally within a couple of days he was in hospital in a medically induced coma. So, you know, let's also be real about that. This is bullshit. Right, this is straight up bullshit, because they're trying to say that this is the same as nicotine vaping, and it's just not, you know. And it's like they say, this is like one of the best ways, you know, it's like a public health, you know, the way that this is being done is that they're putting money above people's health, and you know, I honestly just, I can't live with that, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? I just, that to me just really, really, really grinds my gears, you know, because it's just wrong.
What you got to remember is these figures that are being quoted, you know, with regards to putting over, it's going back to what GIA says. You got to remember, it depends on how much has been declared.
Yeah.
You know, that can make a hell of a difference.
Yeah, but also as well is numbers like that as well can they, you know, that you can skew things and do you know what I mean? You can make stats look in a particular way, but you know, all we can go on by what is the numbers of stuff that's actually reported and what we can actually see. We can't say, well, you know, there's probably some people that aren't declaring all their income, so you know, like there's probably more. I mean, yeah, of course that might be the case, but you know, unless we've got that number in front of us to use, then we can't really take it into account, and certainly nobody else is going to take it into account if we haven't actually got the cold hard fact right there. You know, and like I say, this whole week I've just been watching just video after video, reading article after article. You know, the UK government is pretty much standing firm. You know, our public, you know, they're saying that, you know, we're not changing our stance on vaping. You know, but I do believe that we're going to get some more regulations coming. You know, I do believe it's going to happen. People do not get complacent because vaping's okay in your country for now, because vaping was okay in the USA up until very recently. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's still people in the UK that are lobbying against vaping. Let's not forget that. You know, there's still plenty of people that are trying to do it in the UK, and you know, it's not like we're immune or anything just because
we're on right now.
It's got to come.
Yeah, and you know, like I've said before, we are a worldwide community. You know, we are a worldwide community. This is not just a hobby. This is not just something that we enjoy doing. This is like a revolution, you know. And we are now, we're trying to fight for a healthier way of life, and not just for me, or for you. But that's everyone all over the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what people have got to understand, is how important this really is. You know, and you've got a lot of people that are just like, I mean, some of the replies that I've had to some of the advocacy posts and stuff I've done on my wall, I just, you know what I mean? It's just like that. And it, you know, and I'm just saying, look, it's proven to be 95% safer than smoking. Well, of course it's safer than smoking. Well, that's what we're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about telling people to start vaping because it's healthy. We're not telling non-smokers to start vaping. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is fighting for the right, to be able to actually choose a healthier lifestyle. Let's have a look now. We've got some more comments here. As a European, I can't get my head around they'll take away our guns opposition towards having the industry regulated more by the government. Yeah, the gun issue's got nothing to do with vaping. I don't care what anyone says. That has got absolutely zero to do with vaping.
But I guarantee you they've got plans. Like this isn't their first. Like, I'm telling you, man, like I can feel it. If being here in the US, you can feel it. Like there's a weird feeling around right now. Like there's a lot of strange things going on behind closed doors that I feel like we're all gonna hear and go, Jesus. Like It's coming. Like I can feel it. And I don't know what it, like, honestly, I can't pinpoint it. It could be guns. It could be, I mean, I don't know what it is.
That's what I'm saying. This flavor ban's a test.
It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like you're telling me that with 480,000 deaths last year in the US from smoking, but 8 people used illicit drugs in a vape device, and now all of a sudden it's an epidemic. Listen, I don't know if y'all watched that. There was some like group out front of the, God, who was that? Oh man. They had like truth.org, Parents Against Vaping, e-cigs, like all these advocacy groups for, that are against vaping out there. And I watched the whole thing, and I made it a point to count the word that they were using, epidemic, because I keep hearing this a lot. Like I've heard the word epidemic so much in the past 3 weeks, like it's insane. So when I watched this video, I counted how many times I heard it. 37 times they used the word epidemic. Like one guy used the word like 8 times. Like it was insane. I'm like, they're using this word as a tool to scare the American public and to change the freaking view of vaping. It's an epidemic. It's a teen epidemic. People are dying. It's an epidemic. It's mind blowing. So you're telling me in the last 10 years where we've lost 5 million people in the US to smoking, that's not an epidemic? 5 million dead? We've lost more people to cigarettes in the United States than we have it with any war in our history.
Yeah, that's like genocide as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not an epidemic. Like that, it baffles me, man. It blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing like creating panic like a word like epidemic, is there?
Oh yeah. And it's killing our kids, it's killing our kids, it's killing our kids. This is all I keep hearing, we've got to protect our children, and everything. But that's just not really the case. I mean, I honestly don't like the idea of young teenagers or whatever getting the high nicotine sort of stuff and buzzing out of it and all that kind of stuff. I don't like that. But they can do that with a Ventolin aspirin inhaler if they put enough into their mouth and hold it in for long enough. Do you know what I mean? And they'll get headbutt. You're never going to stop. You're never ever going to stop kids doing dumb shit. That's down to the parents. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. It's like I said, it's got to stop somewhere.
So I want to touch on the parent thing. So I'm a shop owner in Knoxville. I'm a father and I'm a husband. I have 5 kids. My kids start from 3 years old and they go all the way up. My oldest son will be 17 in December. So 17 to 3 years old. Not one of my kids touches my vapes. They know better to vape. They know that it's not something for them. And they know that because I'm a parent. I'm a parent above all else. Above everything else, I parent my children. So it's almost like in America, I can't parent my kids, so I'm going to get my government to step in and parent my kids. That's not their job. That's your job. Like when you have a child, that is your job. It's not, you get paid for it in love and, you know what I'm saying? Like unconditional love, but it is a job. That is a job. It's your job to teach your children what's right and what's wrong. It's your job to discipline your children when they do something wrong. It's not everyone else's. Stop putting it off on everyone else and do what you're supposed to do for your kids. They're your kids. Like that baffles me that we literally expect our government to parent our children. You want to know how to fix children from vaping? Make it like any other drug and they get punished when they're caught with it. It's really simple. Like oh my God, it blows my mind. It really does. Like when did we become a freaking country where we need someone else to parent our children? Like, I don't understand that. Just parent your kid. Like it's super simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just talk to them honestly, and be 100% real with them and explain to them like the real dangers and stuff and say, look, the only reason that I vape is because, I used to smoke and smoking would end up killing me and, vaping's a healthy alternative. But at the end of the day, that's not telling your kids that vaping's okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the thing, I mean, I don't know whether people know this, but I raised 6 children, 4 stepchildren and 2 of my own. Out of all of them, when I split up with my partner, that was when one of them started smoking a little while afterwards. That was when it happened, like while I was around, it never happened because, I'm not being, daddy's belt solved, problem solved. I mean, but it doesn't have to be a belt. Do you know what I mean? I prefer to do it with my big loud booming voice. In case anybody hasn't noticed, I'm quite a vocal person, and
Really?
you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, though, that's how I choose to parent. I ain't telling somebody not to hit their kid with a belt. You want to hit your kid with a belt? Do you know what I mean? If that's the way you want to discipline your kid, that's up to you. But what I'm saying is, either way, you've got to deal with the problem at home, right? And the problem at home is kids left unsupervised, kids left to do what they want. Parents, the same parents that are crying about it now, are probably the ones that have been going to the shop and buying the vape stuff for them in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like how many people when they were younger had a friend whose mum or dad would go and get them cigarettes from the shop? How many? I'm pretty sure everybody had a friend whose mum or dad was cool about everybody smoking and they didn't really care. And, I know that's certainly the case in the UK. It was for me. One of my friends' parents used to go to the shop and get us cigarettes and stuff when I was like 14, So there's some unresponsible parents out there. And, I just think people just need to get real with it and stop shifting the blame and expecting the government to discipline your kids for you or to take it away because you can't, because what? You can't fulfill your role as a parent. Wow. That kind of thing just really pisses me off. Yeah.
And Willow's dead on. I don't think Tracy. I don't think Willow means like he's beating his children. It's more like it's a scare tactic. It's the same thing that Bohane's talking about. He uses his voice. I use my voice. I might break out the belt and pop it a few times. I don't have to beat on my children. Like I don't have to. They know it's an option. They know that if they're out of line, they're going to get their phones taken away. They're going to lose their games. They're going to get grounded. Like there's other options. We're not saying actually physically beat the crap out of your kids. We're just saying they need to be disciplined. Like if you look at some of these advocates that are against vaping and you watch them speak, you can tell that they're not parenting their children. You can tell by how they carry themselves. I can tell a good parent when I meet them because I can tell by how they're carrying themselves. How you carry yourself shows how you're going to discipline your household. It's just, it's kind of give and take. It's how it works. So most people that know me know my children behave when they're around. I mean, Steve knows me. He's been to my shop. He knows that when my kids are here, they act like they're supposed to because we're in a public environment. I don't have to beat them. I don't have to, fling them around. I just make sure that they understand that there's a way to act in public and then there's a way you can act at home. Like there's differences. But if you're going to blame vaping on your kids vaping, then that's your problem as a parent. You should have fixed that. You should have educated your children and did what you were supposed to do. Don't put it on us. We are grown-ups that vape. I started vaping because I smoked cigarettes for 22 years and I was killing myself. I already lost family members to cigarettes. I didn't want to do that. And this was the only thing that helped me. Matter of fact, while we're on the subject about parents, I want to tell a quick little story from the shop. So I actually had a mother come in the shop. This was a few months back, and she had the kid in the car. He was probably about 16 or so in the passenger seat. And she comes in and she says, do you have any Juuls? And I could tell right away she had no idea anything about vaping. She didn't smell like she had been smoking. And I said, can I ask why you're looking for them? And she proceeds to tell me. So her 16-year-old's friends use Juuls. So he wants one because they're cool. Now, Let me explain something to you. This is the problem right here. I'm going to break it down. These kids not only are tricking their parents into getting them, but they're lying to them. This lady actually thought that she could buy a Juul
with 0% nicotine so her kid could have the flavor and look cool with his friends.
Yeah.
First off, Juul doesn't sell 0% nicotine.
No.
Second off, my shop does not carry anything Juul or Juul related because I don't believe you should sell stuff that kids can hide easily and take to school. I just think it's wrong, especially with what we're going up against right now. So when I think I spent like an hour and a half with her, educating her on what's really going on and what's actually in the Juul, and that a pod, like a pack of cigarettes, like it's a lot of fucking nicotine. Like it's the last thing her kid needs. And by the time she left, she's like, that little shit ain't getting a damn thing. But it took me about an hour or so to get it through to her exactly what was going on. But it was worth my time because I kept that mother from going to a gas station or another shop and getting her kid a fucking Juul. I did my job. My job is to educate the public. That's why I own a business. I educate people on something that I believe in. That's what we're supposed to be fucking doing. Stop trying to make a quick buck. Do your job.
And on the subject of the milligram of nic that Robbie was talking about there, over here, it's regulated to 20 milligram, I believe. In the US, it's 50 milligram for you guys.
Yep, 50, 5%.
Yeah.
Or 50.
That's a hell of a difference.
Yeah. In the UK, nicotine salts are capped at 20.
Yeah.
And normal nicotine, free-based nicotine, is capped at 18. And that's it. There's no wiggle room. I personally still think that's too high, but I get when people are heavy smokers and they first transgress into, do you know what I mean? They transcend into the vaping side of things, that they are going to need that little bit extra so that they get that relief, because it's got to be like a direct replacement. It's like, I always tell people that, the best way right now to actually get off cigarettes is like a pod device. Yeah, self-accountability, 100% there. Do you know what I mean? I really 100% agree with that, is that people need to hold themselves accountable. Do you know what I'm saying? Not people that are out there trying to help others. You know what I'm saying? It's like so many people that I know in the States, you know what I mean? And the shit that they're going through right now, all because of what? Because it's money. Yeah. They're quite happy to stomp on one industry. Do you know what I mean? So they can prop up another one. They know categorically that it is bad for you. So why don't the government use their brains here, right? And say, well, tell you what, let's ban smoking. And then vaping, you know what I mean? Like vaping will take everybody that smokes, right? We'll go over to vaping, and then we'll be getting the same kind of money. Do you know what I'm saying? But they won't. This is the thing. They won't do it.
Yeah. And also that about what Willow's just said.
Yeah.
Most of the kids that are going for these carts and stuff, with regards to nicotine, it's more about the buzz than the actual nicotine.
Well,
But that kind of nic gives you a hell of a buzz.
Do you remember? Was it last week when I said about the nic salts that I had? I accidentally got a 36 milligram one instead of a 20 or an 18, and I was not in a good way after vaping that. It was horrible. Worked a lot.
Andy, do you remember me using it at Expo and I put it on a map? I hadn't realised what it was.
I know. We were like, try this, and we were hitting it, and I literally, I hit it on a grip, which, you know what I mean, with an 08 build in it, right? And I hit it, and I was stood there holding onto the counter afterwards, like, do you know what I mean?
I think that was a 35 milligram word.
Yeah, we were just like, what the hell is that? And
I had done it by accident. It wasn't intentional.
I've got nic salts. I'm vaping nic salts in my billet box here, but it's a 20 milligram. I've got it on quite a low wattage, 20 watts or something like that. Because really, if you sub-ohm any nic salts, that's not really good for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're getting that amount of nicotine in that short period of time, it's actually quite toxic. And if you continue to do it over and over again, you're going to get ill. I mean, like everybody's saying that vaping is 100% safe and this and that and the other. I mean, in some cases, like, you know, like with the high strength nic salts and, you know, people sub-ohming them, I don't honestly believe that that is healthy. You know, I really don't. But what I will say is that no matter what, as long as people are getting off cigarettes, yeah, and getting onto vaping, then, you know, I'm good with that, because at the end of the day, if people want to go and do something that they know is stupid and they're an adult, then that's their choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Another thing I want to say to Willow with his self-accountability, right? From a parent's point of view, self-accountability doesn't mean to say you're a bad parent.
No.
Every day, we know kids are going to do what kids want to do. And if they can get their mate to get it, they will.
Yeah, I mean,
self-accountability in that would be education. You know, let them know that it's wrong. If they're still going to do it, then you sort of, you know, that's where you've got to step in. But that self-accountability is also about education.
Yeah, I mean, and all this fake news that's going around at the moment is just
knowledge is power.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, you know, knowledge is power, but when the knowledge that people have got is flawed, then it's not actually power, it's toxic. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it's like if people are going around and that, you know, they're saying, like I had one guy say, nicotine's a great pesticide. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's very good for you to be inhaling it all day. And it's like, wow, do you know what I'm saying? Like diesel and petrol, that's a great pesticide. Yeah, right, it'll kill the plants as well or whatever, but you're breathing that in every day when you walk down the street, when you go past a car. Do you know what I'm saying? When a car, Desmond now is saying that, you know, nic salt should be off the market.
They need better regulation. It's not.
Yeah, they need better regulation. They have their place. The high strength ones need to be off the market.
And it's like regular nic juice, really. You know.
Hello.
Either Paul's had a stroke or he's froze. I don't know which one.
No.
or the
Sorry about that, guys. I had a busy time.
Dad done has just kicked in.
No, but I mean that's what it's more about. You know, it's education, you know, and that's why I say advocacy, education as well. You know, don't get drawn into propaganda and the crap. You know, that's to stay where under the rock you come from. You know, let's stick to fact. Let's stick to, you know, proven stuff. We can say, you know, for a fact that this is how it is.
Hey, can I make a comment real quick about something going on?
Yeah, man.
So, if you see the gear I'm wearing, the Detroit Rock Candy, the owner of the company is a really good friend of mine. Her name's Jennifer Marsack, and they're actually located in Michigan. So, as you know, what's going on in Michigan. I normally don't ever do this, but this is kind of like just if you're looking to order any juice and you want to help her out so they can get rid of it before they have to destroy it, please hit her up. They have amazing juice. We've been carrying it since we opened. I feel so bad. She is like a sister to me.
This isn't plugging.
The website is awesome. Yeah, the website is DetroitRockCandy.com.
You know, if your local is having trouble, put them out there. You know, help them out. This is money that people are going to be having to use to get by however long it's going to take. You know, this isn't just about this is about people to survive for the next couple of months. You know, this is where we need to be supporting.
So a lot of what's going to happen, you know, these people who have had to shut up shop and sell everything, you know, what are they going to do? You know, they're going to be the next people in line to get a welfare check from the government. So really all they've done is forced them out of the nice little shop that they had where they were making money and paying taxes straight into the doors of the government saying, please help me, I've got nothing, you know. And it's sad to see, you know, because there was nothing wrong with them continuing their businesses in the way they were doing it, you know, and just gone roughshod over them and just said, no, shut up everything. You've got 14 days. Bye bye. You know, it's like they washed their hands of them.
You know, when you consider what some of these guys.
It's getting a lot of echo. We're getting a lot of echo. A lot of people saying,
I think it's Zippy.
yeah.
I think
Right, Zip, do us a favour, mute the microphone sec, mate.
Muted.
Yeah.
I'm working on a Mac, man. I don't know how to work this.
Should be at the bottom. It should be at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, maybe it's me.
Is it me?
No.
Yes.
Right, okay.
It's Andy. Talk now. I don't hear an echo.
I don't hear an echo either.
Is it back now?
Yeah, I can hear.
Right. Let me have a look.
That's it to you, Vinny.
Oh, that's my wife commenting right there. Kate Allen. We're having a breakdown. The government shutting us down. Help us.
Right.
So I'm just trying to get this sorted.
Is that any better?
That's so weird.
Right, but it seems like Vinny has frozen again.
Seems you.
Oh, why? Maybe it's because Vinny's frozen.
Yeah, there we go. Look, Vinny's gone again.
Hey, it's all better.
No.
Tell you what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to some headphones and chuck them. Just see if it is. The headphones I've got, unfortunately.
Technology.
Yeah. So is that I'm the only one that's all right?
Hey, I'm back. Testing.
We good?
Just like a delay on my side.
At least real.
All right, you're back with the League of Extraordinary Vapers. And coming up next, we got Vaping. Saved my life.
Yeah, my phone decided to take a shit on it and just crash.
That's crazy.
Right, okay. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's,
Still alive, fella.
okay, well, it's not coming from me because I've got my headphones on.
Holy crap. Here we go.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's you, Rabbit. Nope.
No,
you can't be Rabbit.
Let me try.
Paul, you're next.
Yeah. Hello.
Paul's
now mute your mic.
Mute. Mic
Hello.
check.
Hello, Paul.
Hey.
It's you, Paul.
Way to go, Paul. Come on, Paul.
Yeah,
What the hell, Paul?
You got my Mickey Mouse ears
I told you it was him.
1 second.
Well, no, Rabbit, how's business been this week? Have you seen any challenges this week?
Oh, man. Why you got to bring that up? You want to make me cry?
No, I think it's important for people actually understand what effect this is having, you know, from a business point of view as well, you know what I mean?
Okay, so, are we done?
Yeah, it's echoing.
Okay. Paul.
Hello.
Have you got a headset, Paul?
There we go. Okay. So actually, since we opened over, I don't know, it's been a while now, well over a year, maybe a year and a half, something like that. Every month we've grown since opening. So every month we've grown like substantially. In the past 3 weeks, we have dropped for the first time since we've been opened. I think we're down like 30 to 40%. Like it's pretty substantial. I mean, I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm not going to start selling, other products and change my entire, outlook on vaping. Like that's not going to happen. I'm going to keep fighting. This is still a vape shop. We are here for vapers. That's not going to change. But yeah, our sales have went down. The negative media definitely did not help at all. So that's kind of my drive, is to keep pushing and keep, trying to educate people, let people know the truth. Listen, don't believe everything you see in the media. Come on in. I'll show you documented proof. Like I've actually went to what is it? The United Kingdom. What's their big medical thing?
The .gov website.
Yeah, for the UK.
Yeah.
I actually have like documents, from when all their research paperwork and stuff like that. I have printed off. I have little booklets, pamphlets. I have little, flyers with different things they can do locally and, across the U.S. to help fight. I'm doing it. Literally, my wife can attest to this. I'm fighting from when I wake up in the morning, have my coffee, until I go home and go to sleep at night. Like I'm always on my phone. If I'm not on my phone, I'm in public talking to somebody. I'm at the shop talking to somebody. I'm pushing constantly as much as I physically can. Like in my opinion, this is just my opinion. This isn't documented proof. This is my opinion. All words out of my mouth are my opinion. I believe our only hope right now is to change public opinion. We need to get non-vapers fighting just alongside us vapers. We need everyone that believes that this is our right as an adult American to choose to fight with us. That's our hope right now. We need more people that, I mean, obviously us fighting, we're going to fight. We're vapers. Like I've been in this industry a long time. So obviously I'm going to fight because I love this. Yes, I could have quit vaping a couple years ago. I worked my way down to about a 1.5, but I love vaping. Like I enjoy it. I like the flavors. I like the cessation. Like I love vaping. So I'm not going to stop vaping, but I don't want to have to tell my customers that they don't have a choice. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, that scares me more than anything, because I love my customers and I don't want to have to say, listen, I know that I helped you quit smoking, but now you're going to have to go back because our government won't let you vape flavors. Like I just can't do it. Like even thinking about it just kills me.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you there. I mean, Rabbit, I've known you for a couple of years getting on now, and you're one of the main people that I see that's constantly pushing for advocacy, pushing, like we're into the teams together, and you put in the pictures of like screwed up packets of cigarettes where you've got another person off the cigarettes and everything. And you know what, bro, I applaud you for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, props to you, because if everybody had that attitude and everybody took that level of enthusiasm and that level of I want to call it aggression, do you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't want it to come across the wrong way. But if you take that and, passion, that's the one. Yeah. And if you take that passion and you put it in the right direction, do you know what I mean? And we've all got to fire back, because, like I've been saying, vaping, this isn't anything new, right? That vaping's under attack. As long as I've been involved in vaping, this has been going on. But this now is where the domino rally starts. You know what I'm saying? It's like one goes and it'll be one state, and then the other states will go, and then the other states will go, and then the other states will go. So if people really don't start fighting back, then, it's a lost cause. But I don't believe it is a lost cause, because we have a voice. Do you know what I'm saying? And even though we're in the UK over here, we feel just as passionately about it as you do, because we just cannot believe. I mean, okay, it might be people saying, well, yeah, but, you vape mainly American juice, and, you're involved with American companies and stuff like that. And so it's a bit of a self absorbed kind of view of it, but it's not. That's not what I'm bothered about. What I'm bothered about is people having their choices taken away from them, you know. And I don't want to say anything like disparaging about the American government, but it's like, you know, like we said last week, land of the free. What the fuck happened to that? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like literally it will take, you know, people's choice away. And, you know, I really don't believe that that is fair. It's immoral. You know, whether it's legal or not, I don't actually know, because I'm not really that, you know, like up with the US laws, really, if I'm honest with you, because I'm not from there. And I know that you guys, you've got 52 states, so you've got 52 different sets of laws, you know what I mean, or whatever it is. You know, each state looks at things slightly differently. And, you know, you're never going to get everybody agree on something. Do you know what I'm saying? You're always going to have opposing opinions and stuff, but people need to take them on board. Do you know what I mean? If we just turn around and say, well, you know, we don't care, vaping's safer and that's it, you know, that's not really attacking the problem. Do you know what I mean? That's not really dealing with the problem, because, you know, that's just saying something and it's a throwaway comment, if you know what I mean. It's just, you know, yeah, well, vaping's safer and that's it, you know. But we got to dig a little deeper than that, and we got to get these real facts out there. And I'm really, really proud for once in my life of the British government and the way that, you know, our public health officials and everything are standing strong by their stance, and they're saying no. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, you know, like our government has said that smoking tobacco, any sort of tobacco, is going to be outlawed by 2030. Do you know what I'm saying? So like our country as by and large is anti-smoking, you know, and I think that the reason for that and is, like I said earlier on, about the whole NHS and the offset of the money, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, brass tacks of it is this is just wrong, you know. And at the end of the day, the more people that are in the fight, I mean, how many people was it we said vape in America? 14 million, was it?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's around about 14 million people. Now, there's 14 million vapers out there. What about all their family members? You know, they're family members that, you know, are glad that they've given up smoking and, you know, they're vaping and they're for a healthier lifestyle. They need to get them on board as well. And they need to get them filling in the petitions. They need to get them to be making posts on Twitter and stuff like that. Not making them, but asking them, you know, because it's like I've said before, even if you're not a smoker, right, and you're not a vapor, you will know somebody who is, somebody you possibly care about a great deal. And, you know, this could save their life. Literally, like, this isn't just being dramatic. This is actual facts, you know, like this could save their life. And people want to take that away. It just, man.
Well, let's look at the other side of the coin. You know, I mean, not being funny, they're doing all this. What caused this problem in the first place? Black market stuff.
Yeah,
now,
prohibition stuff.
You start taking away flavours and stuff like that and people's choices. This is going to go way underground. How many casualties is that going to cause? Because once it goes underground, regulation, morals, everything go out the window. How much damage is this going to cause if it goes underground?
Well, you know that the same thing happened in the U.S. for marijuana. I mean, y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Many years ago, they did a like a what do they call it? A lettering campaign. It's like
from Adam's campaign, wasn't it?
Pamphlets, yeah, that they would send out and talk about how marijuana, you know, makes people crazy, causes them to kill people. Does, you know, they were like just crazy propaganda that marijuana did, and that's basically why marijuana became like such, you know, it's almost classified worse than heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they classified it was ridiculous. But then look at how long it took for marijuana to get back to where people are like, wait a minute, we screwed up. Like it was so many years that at that point, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're still trying to catch up. Like there's states like ours that aren't even, it's still illegal here. Like it's a big deal if you're caught here, but then you have states all over that are not, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean, in the UK, we're like one of the biggest exporters of cannabis-based medicine, but you know, I'm not being funny. I'm I'm on a lot of pain medication and stuff because of my disabilities and everything. And do you think I can get a doctor that will write me out a script for a cannabis-based medication? No, not hope in hell. I'd have to go to a private doctor that I can't afford. Do you know what I'm saying? And the prescription cost me like £1,500, which is a lot of money. And sorry, and it's just one of these crazy things. Like, that the whole time they were saying that there was no medicinal use for it. There's this company called GW Pharma that's literally half owned by the UK government. And they were the only people in the UK that were licensed to grow cannabis, real cannabis, not CBD, but do you know what I mean? Real cannabis, and make medicine from it and send it out to other countries. And there was one that was called Sativex that was only given to people that had MS and had gone through every single other type of medication first. Like, I'm on a lot of morphine for my pain, and I'm on a lot of morphine. And you work this out, right? How can the doctor turn around and say to me, here's a script for your pharmaceutical heroin, right, and give me the prescription for that? But when I say to them, I've been using cannabis for medication, they took my driving license off me. They literally took my, like I got reported and they took my drive for 6 years now. I've not been able to drive. They were fine about the morphine. They were fine about the benzos. They were fine about all the other drugs that they've got me on. They didn't care about that. But the cannabis, yeah, that's what they cared about more than anything. And to me, that's absolutely absurd, because for a start, I've never even committed a motoring offence. I've never had a parking ticket. I've never been caught speeding. I've certainly never been caught, and I've never, ever been out under the influence of, do you know what I mean? Like on my bikes and stuff before, under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So why couldn't I be given the same benefit of the doubt as everybody else? And it's completely unfair and unjust. And I'm fighting at the moment to get my driving license back. And it's took me like 6 years. And I'm still waiting to find out. I'm still waiting. And it's just one of these things, again, that they took that away from me, because I had a doctor, one of my pain management doctors, and he said to me, he said, look, because of the amount of morphine and stuff you're on, cannabis could actually really help you with the nausea, with the because it makes me feel sick, it kills my appetite. My weight goes up and down all the time because I'll go for weeks without eating properly and stuff. That's really had a big impact on me, because I've had to give it all up. I've had to give all that stuff up because I need to get my driving license back, that is crazy to me, because a doctor can actually prescribe it, and in that case it's fine. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine, but it's just this completely hypocritical way that our government seems to deal with things. And that just makes me think that, we're not actually alone. You're not actually alone on that, because, it's the same as over here, with certain things, just not with vaping. At the moment, vaping's safe at the moment. Do you know, but that could change any moment. They're
just looking for that one good reason, aren't they, to say, hey, let's just think about this now.
Well, they don't even need a good reason. There isn't any good reason. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're looking for any reason.
Yeah, they're looking for anything.
Good or not, yeah.
True, false, do you know what I mean? They don't care. They don't care. And that is basically, it's just propaganda. Now, I'm just looking down in the comments here. Again, like vaping, I'm not in the business of trading one right for another. That's not freedom, that's extortion.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I'm, the comments that we get on the show and everything, they're so on point, and this just shows me that the people that are heavily invested in the vaping industry, whether that be for personal reasons or for monetary reasons or whatever, they actually know the truth. But I keep seeing people posting in vape groups, right, and posting propaganda, or or even like posting advocacy stuff in vape groups, but it's preaching to the converted, man. You need to be getting everybody else. And that's who we need to be getting to, and that's who we need to be talking to, in my opinion, is the general public.
It's like it's not just America that's under fire at the moment. I mean, you've got India, You got Australia, New Zealand. They're all under fire as well for the same propaganda bullshit for the same reason, money.
Yeah, agreed.
It's ridiculous. I'm willing to put people's lives at risk for money.
Hey, Chris, you do know that India is like number one leading for.
Yeah, I know.
India is like number one leading in the world for like cigarette related deaths. I'm pretty sure. Like they're like,
oh yeah. They like literally smoke like troopers. Is
oh god.
Like, you know, we've got quite a big Indian community in the UK, and you know, from what I know from friends that I grew up with and everything, was that all their parents, grandparents, and everything, they have these big extended families that all live in the same house, and I'd walk in their house and they'd just be like, you know what I mean? I just get hit by a wall of smoke the minute you walk in the door. You know,
like walking into a pub in the 80s.
Yeah, basically. You know, it's like, because over here in the UK, they banned smoking in pubs and stuff like that, and bars and restaurants and all that kind of thing quite a while ago now. You know, and it's like I say, like in the UK, like our government by and large is anti-smoking, you know, and the reason that they say that they put the heavy taxes on it is to try and not only cover the costs with the NHS and stuff, but it's also to try and deter people from wanting to do it in the first place. I mean, you used to be able to buy packs of 10 cigarettes in the UK. You can't anymore. You've got to buy, do you know what I mean? Like it's a pack of 20 is the amount that you can get them in, and the tobacco is no longer sold in smaller packages and stuff like that. You have to buy a big package, which I think that the idea behind that is kids won't be able to afford it. If you get what I mean, you know, if they've got to go and pay £20 for a pouch of tobacco, they won't actually be able to afford it. India's largest tobacco.
Yeah.
Last time when I was smoking, it used to cost me about £12 for a pouch of tobacco with tips. I was speaking to someone not long back, and they was telling me it was about £25 just for the pouch of tobacco. I was like,
it's a 30 gram pouch. It's a 30 gram pouch, so you're probably like, it's a 30 gram pouch of tobacco though. So whereas before, I mean,
is it 30 grams now on there?
Yes, 30 gram. That's what I'm saying. They've made it so you can't get the 12.5 gram, you can't get the 25 gram. It's a 30 grams. Is the smallest quantity that you can buy in one time.
50 gram pouches. I did. I'd kill one of them off in 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started smoking, you could buy 10 cigarettes for 96 pence. Do you know what I mean? It didn't even cost £1 for a pack of 10 cigarettes, and that tells you how young I actually was when I started smoking.
10 pence.
You know, and I used to go down Sid's at the corner shop. Do you know what I'm saying? And Sid used to be there, and he had a Hamlet tin, cigar tin behind the counter, and it was full of singles. And I
remember them.
Yeah, and we used to go in and like we go. You got any looses? Do you know what I mean? Loose cigarettes, like, you know, and he'd be like, 20 pence each. Do you know what I mean? We go in there and we spend our lunch money on cigarettes, and you know, and that was it. Another comment from Willow. See, now that's what's so strange here. We made it illegal to smoke everywhere, which I'm a touring musician, so I started vaping. We've been taxing cigarettes forever and making it illegal to smoke. Yeah, you know, and I kind of. That's something that we've already touched on here, is that, you know, like our country's been banning smoking and stuff like that. So
it's been a gradual process over a long time.
10 cigarettes off the market.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, has it?
Yeah, 30 grams of tobacco is anywhere between £13 to £17. 50 grams is £20 to £26. So, you know, it's you know, still it's quite a substantial amount of money still for a child. Do you know what I mean? For a kid to get, you know, I mean, like, you know, I don't believe in spoiling my kids and just handing over like wads of cash to them to go and do what they want with, you know. I try and be a responsible parent and make sure that, you know, if they have got money, they're spending it on the right things, you know, they're not out there. And you know, my son Joe, he
used to get much money from our pocket money as a kid, let alone bloody 20 quid.
Not unless I did a shitload of chores around the house and everything. That's the other thing as well. Like, you know, is like my parents used to make me work, you know, in the house and do stuff to be able to get any pocket money. You know, and if I didn't do well at school, which to be honest, I never really did. You know, I'd end up getting my pocket money docked, and stuff like that. And, and I think that is quite a good way of parenting, even though it didn't work very well with me. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think that's just because of me. I don't think that was the parenting issue there. That was an Andy issue. So
but
it's just
part of that as well is you look at most parents these days. Now, I mean, a lot of them are that busy now. It's easier to give your kid a $5 and get them out of the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is to look after them in a lot of respects. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Kids now. Bloody hell, they lose a tough, man. They're expecting a tenner under the bloody pillar in the morning. You know what I mean? It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
When
it's
we
like
were a kid, it was like you were lucky if I think it was like 50p was the last one I got. Now it's like a couple of quid. It's like
I mean, as you guys know, I've got 2 young kids, and back in my day, you lose your baby teeth, it was 50p under the pillow. Now it's a $5. $5 a tooth. We're in the wrong bloody industry.
Yeah.
We're born in the wrong era.
Yeah. I just think that a lot of kids these days just kind of feel like they're entitled to all of this stuff, because you've got some parents out there that spoil their kids and let them have whatever they want and stuff, and then your kids are looking at you thinking you're an asshole because you're not letting me. Do you know what I mean? You're not letting me do the same shit as my friends and everything. And like I told my stepchildren and everything, I was like, you can hate me as much as you want for it now. You really can. You can hate me for it all you like. Parenting is not a popularity contest, right? But when you're older and you've got kids of your own, you'll look back and you'll be like, yeah, okay, you might have been strict and you like it for a reason. Do you know what I'm saying? It's, and that's exactly what, my older stepchildren say to me is like, they understand why I was like that, because they've looked at the way that their friends turned out, and they're all doing good. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of these things that I think that parents just need to be held accountable, and just sort your kids out. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, nobody else is going to do it.
I remember the first time when my parents caught me smoking. I remember the ass whooping I got for that, even though they both smoked.
Yeah,
my dad got the leather belt out and he literally tanned my ass.
I hid it for years and years and years, and purely because my dad smoked. My dad didn't realise I actually smoked until he was pretty much on his deathbed from cancer. One of his last wise words to me was, "Stop it, stop smoking."
What you got to remember is discipline gets respect. It's not about sitting there battering your kids and everything, because that's not something that should be done these days. At the end of the day,
to be fair, that most likely make them want to do it more.
There are ways to discipline your kids in the right way that will get respect.
Well, I always find that the threat of something is always worse than the actual event, if you know what I mean. So like Rabbit was saying earlier on, he might get the belt out and whip it a few times and say, look, this, but you know what happens, right? When you actually, you get the belt, you like that. We've all done it. Right? You know what I'm saying? We've all done it, but I've never actually had to use the belt, because this is what I honestly believe, and that is that once you start hitting them with it, they realize it doesn't actually really hurt that much. Do you know what I'm saying? And you get used to that shit. Do you know what I mean? And, at the end of the day, it's a bit like, what's his name? Goodfellas said, there's that. Everyone takes a beating once in a while. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's it. And you just get used to it. And it's just like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? And they hit you. And this is what I see.
Do not advocate violence towards your children now.
Yeah, right, yeah.
No,
it's like,
I've actually never raised my hand to my daughter, ever.
No, I haven't.
She doesn't. She's 13 years old. She's got her head screwed on. She's incredibly smart. I know I'm a dad. I'm biased, but I'm going off what I'm being told by her school. And that lot, and what I can see from when we talk to her. She knows what she wants to do. And I've never, ever once raised my hand to her.
Okay, so guys, I want us just to touch on a few things while we've still got a pretty good group of people watching. I just want to spit out a few of the facts that we've talked about in other shows. So, as we all know, the cigarette industry, in the U.S. alone, kills close to 500,000 a year. I think it was like 480,000 last year. In 10 years of tobacco in the U.S., we have 34.3 million smokers, 4.8 million dead from cigarettes. We have 0 dead from vaping nicotine e-liquid.
Yeah.
0. So before we get close to the end of this, I just want to tell everybody, please keep fighting and keep doing it the right way. Let's freaking push the advocacy. I know for a fact that there is an advocacy group in every state. Every state should have one. There's also lots of large organizations like CASA. We need to reach out and help push the facts, help push the truth. Like we have to get the facts out here. We need to get people understanding the truth that vaping is safer. We need people to understand that, we're trying to help people, and that's all we're doing. I mean, is it a business? Do we make money? Yes, we do that, but not all of us are in it it's not about getting rich. Listen to me. This is about an obligation to help people find a healthier alternative to smoking. That's the facts. The facts are we have an obligation to help people. And that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on our obligation and stop focusing on all the negative and all the bad stuff and all the bad publicity. We need to focus on getting good publicity. We can do this. We can do this. There's no reason to give up. It does look dark, but it's not over. We still have a fight in it. Let's keep fighting. Let's push, and let's do what we have to do together as a family all across the globe.
It's not over until the fat ginger sings.
Stevie J, a lot of us in America that are very well versed in this fight. We will fight to the end and then fight some more. And you know what? You've got some of the UK right here as well.
Yeah.
This is going to affect us all eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look, right? I mean, we're looking at numbers, like from the US, 480,000 a year die from smoking-related illness in the US, right? Okay, so what about worldwide? What numbers are we talking about worldwide? That's what I want to know.
Millions.
The real things that we need to know, right? Because when it's all broken down and into different segments of like, this is happening in the UK, this is happening. But guess what? We're a planet, yeah, you know what I mean? And okay, we have different governments, different countries and stuff like that, but we're all people. So really, these numbers don't have to be just about America or just about the US, because it's not just happening in the US. It's happening in India. It's happening in Australia. And I mean, like, there's some countries already out there. I mean, I believe Thailand, vaping's completely illegal, right? It's like, from what I've been told, you're not allowed to vape in Thailand at all. So this is something that's like a worldwide issue. Okay, at the moment, the majority of it's going on in the US, and that's where it seems to be like the front line. Do you know what I'm saying? That seems to be where the front line of the battle is at the moment. But I honestly believe that is because of the amount of media that's going out, and the amount of people out there that are ready to push and that are ready to fight. And I just want to say to everybody, anybody all over the world, that, this is not just about America. This is about people's rights. This is about people's choice, and whether or not it should be taken away from them just so that other people can line their pockets out of other people's death and misery. Because let's be honest.
I can answer your question, Andy, as well, by the way.
Rabbit,
worldwide death in 2018 smoking. This is worldwide for 2018 was 8.2 million.
Jesus Christ.
That was last year.
Just let that sink in. 8.2 million deaths due to smoking.
And remember,
and literally, they just said that it's an epidemic.
Brother, sister, uncle, his family.
Yeah. I mean, I've lost family. I've lost family to smoking. You know what I'm saying? I've lost family to that, and you know, it's something that, you know, I wish that vaping would have been around a lot longer because, you know, well, I would like to say my granddad would still be alive, but he wouldn't. He'd be about 103 now. So, you know, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, you know, he'd have had a longer life. My nan would have had a longer life. My uncle Danny, who died really young, you know, from bowel cancer, he smoked a lot. And, you know, I believe that if vaping would have been around in them times, he would have vaped rather than smoked. Do you get what I'm saying? And, you know, I really do believe that. You know, all right, we haven't got a time machine to go back and shit like that, you know. But what we can do, though, is look at the past, yeah, and use that to shape the future, right? And if we all come together and fight, you know what I'm saying, then we've got a real chance of winning this. And I really do believe that it's like, because a lot of people are just like, it's over, that's it, it's finished, and they're just ready to give up. But you know what? You're a bunch of pussies. All them people that say are acting like that, you're a right bunch of bitches. Yeah, and I ain't got no time for that. You need to stand up for yourself and stand up for your other fellow human beings, because that's what we are. Do you know what I'm saying? And
it's not just about losing flavors. It's not just about losing vaping. Listen, this is our right as a human being, not just an American. Like, this is our right as a human being. The fact that we found a healthier alternative, like it's our right to choose that. And that's the simple fact. Like, we should be able to say, listen, this shit killed a billion people. I don't want it to kill me, so I want to you know what I'm saying? Like, we should be able to make that choice. That's the worst part, is that they're telling us that we can't pick something healthier. Like, that blows my mind. Like, it should have everybody in outrage. Like, we should start talking about how cigarettes are an epidemic and they killed 8 million people worldwide last year. That's an epidemic. Like, come on, people, like, wake up. Like, it's blatantly obvious that they're using these words to fucking manipulate you, brainwash you, get you thinking that it's bad. Like, I legit had somebody look at me like I was disgusting because I vape. Like, and he was smoking a cigarette. Listen, bro, I know for a fact that's killing you. I can help you find a healthier way. Well, the news tells me that that's killing people.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? We have an obligation to fight. It's not just about if we can or if we can't. We have an obligation. The fact is, we know it's safer. We have to fight for people. Like, that's how we're human, right? Like, that's what humans are supposed to do. Yeah. We're supposed to fight for each other.
This is on about, you know, the next generation's future in vaping.
Yeah, our children's children, you know, where does it stop? You know, where does it end with all this? You know, I mean, like, I honestly believe this is just like a controlled test type thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like a lab experiment where they're just watching, they're waiting and seeing how people react and stuff. You know what I mean? And how the general public reacts to everything. You know, and I've seen certain things like, you know, the government and the media are really clever the way they do things. I mean, like the whole thing of changing the words of global warming into climate change. They're making it sound like it's a lot less than what it actually is, you know, and it's just a play on words. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just a play on words. And that's what they're doing here. Is what they're trying to do is they're trying to confuse people. And it's like, have you seen that video, the one about the mass hypnotization? And it's got the snake of Jungle Book comes up with his eyes, and then it's got that governor from New York saying about, vaping is a healthy alternative, but so what? And then the only bit I didn't like was you had a load of people walking around with Illuminati heads and that. I thought that was a bit far. But, you know, I get their point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I get their point. And so, at some level, you've got to fight fire with fire. Do you know what I mean? There's no good us trying to be all passive about it and, you know, just let them hammer away at us with like M60s or whatever, and we've got water pistols to fire him back, you know, because that's how it feels.
The thing is, we have to keep it controlled. We have to keep it respectful.
Yes.
We have to keep it to fact.
Education. What people don't realize is the American government is like one of the best magicians in the world. Like, they literally go, hey, hey, you see this, and then reach in and take
Yeah.
what you want, and then go, oh, gotcha. Like,
watch him with his hand.
yeah.
Watch him with his hand, and
Hey,
the other one
look
taking
over
the money
here.
out of your pocket.
Look over here, and then they come in. Look over here, over here. Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It's
Like, they're
just like
super good at that. They really are. And they pop up and they say, look, 6 people died from vaping. 6 people died from vaping. And meanwhile, you got freaking Cuomo over here. Vaping is safer than smoking. Technically, yes. But so what?
Yeah, I mean,
If that weren't polite enough.
like honestly, I when I first saw that, I just wanted to like literally snap kick my TV out the window. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was just like, what the living fuck? Do you know what I mean?
I heard it on my phone and I was like,
I mean, man, if I was there, I'd probably end up getting locked up because I'm telling you now, like, you know, I would not be a peaceful protester. Believe me, you know what I'm saying?
It just blows my mind. It blows my mind that when he said that, not one person went, wait a minute, it is safer? Like,
yeah, so you're
telling me that nobody goes,
so fucking, you know,
like, come on.
I accept vaping, smoke, safer than smoking. You know, well, yeah, all right, but change the way in what you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, all I would say this is if this carries on and it gets going, you know, and it carries on the way it is, this is a cult. This is a human cult because you are sentencing people
to death,
effectively, giving them a death warrant. It's like a major death row. Everyone will be walking the mall, you know, and that's the long and short of it. If this gets passed, it's a sad, sad day.
Listen, cigarettes kill 500,000 a year. Technically, yes. But so what?
Yeah, but so what? It makes us some money. So fucking what?
Yeah.
You know,
so what?
You know, it's
our bank accounts are fat. So what?
But it's not technically. It fucking is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like they're saying technically, like that gives it some sort of like
validation,
legitimacy of what they're saying is like, you know, yeah, okay, technically, you know, it's like they say, yeah, you know, in theory, communism works, like, you know, but so what? You know, you know what I mean? If it's like along that sort of line, it's just absurd.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's just, man,
it's
honestly. Like I've been looking at like my computer screen, some of the shit that comes up on there, you know, like the comments and that from the general public that, you know, like on my wall and stuff, and I'm just like, man, you know, and then they say, all right, so you sell this, you must sell this stuff then, you know, because you're pushing really hard, and it's like that's not really the point here, you know. I'm not doing anything to make a fast buck or anything like that, you know. Anything that I do is to try and help people get off smoking, and anybody will tell you if somebody comes to me and that, you know, they want to give up smoking and stuff like that, I will do my level best to get them off cigarettes. I will give them a device. I will give them juice. You know what I mean? Out of my pocket, because I want to help as many people as I possibly can get out of this disgusting habit of smoking. And it is a disgusting habit. It stinks. Not only that, you know, it's just wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all about money. I do think that everybody complaining about paying taxes and stuff, the taxes on the vapor, I do honestly believe that has not helped the cause. Do you know what I'm saying? I really do. And, you know, I don't want to get into a thing here where I'm you know what I mean, slanking off companies and stuff like that. Nobody wants to pay taxes, right? No, nobody wants to pay taxes.
But we have to.
You know, like, but you have to, yeah. And, you know, if it's a choice between paying a little bit more for your juice or paying a little bit more for your device and still being able to have that right, well, you know what? I'd rather pay through the nose for it. I'd rather pay 10 times the amount for it because, you know, it's still is 10 times cheaper than smoking. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, obviously, if you're buying high-end devices and, you know, and really expensive juice and stuff like that, then, yeah, okay, it might cost you the same or possibly more. But you know, it's not costing you your health. And that's the key point here, right? Is, you know, it might cost you money personally, but it's not actually costing you your health.
20 seconds.
Right. Rabbit, I'm going to give you the last bit. Right. We need to wrap up, and I think seeing as it's Rabbit's first appearance officially as a panel member, he can close us out with his last whatever he's got to say.
Okay, so I just want to finish off by saying I appreciate everybody that logged on to watch us. We're going to be here every week. We're going to be giving you updates and keeping you informed on what's going on. We love every one of you guys, and I'm speaking on behalf of the league. We love all of you guys. We love our Vape family. We will keep fighting. No one's stopping. Like, we're not giving up. We're going to fight until there's no fight left. And just keep educating people, please. Keep pushing advocacy. Keep educating people. Keep the truth out there. Spread the truth. Get people knowing the truth. The UK has freaking vape shops and hospitals, man. Wake up, America. Wake up.
Exactly, man. And at the end of the day,
Like,
advocacy, educate.
Yeah. You know, that's it. I mean, you know, I really honestly think that Rabbit's summed everything up, you know, pretty well there. And, you know, people need to open their eyes and they need to look past this fog of propaganda that's in front of them. United we vape. And that's what we need to do. We need to unite. We need to stop all the infighting, the bitching, all that kind of stuff. It just needs to be put to one side. Personal grievances between people that own vape companies and stuff like that, they need to grow the fuck up, right? And stand the fuck up. Do you know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, I'm sorry if my language is offending people tonight, but I really am riled up about this now because this is something I truly believe in. And there's all of these lies that are being spread about it, and it needs to stop. People need to just not read the news headlines. They need to actually read the real information. They need to research. They need to use their brain. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, they need to do that because, you know, if you just constantly look for media sources as your source of information, news outlets and stuff like that, that's not where the real facts come from. Do you know what I mean? All of that is to sell papers, or do you know what I'm saying, or to sell, or to get more people to advertise on their website, or whatever. It's all involved around money. Now, people can say the same, you know, Rabbit's only worried about it because his shop might get closed down. No, I can tell you categorically that is not the case, right? He wants to fight for vaping, whether his shop survives or not. I believe that's a secondary thing to him. You know what I'm saying? That's just from how I know Rabbit to be. And, you know, and I think if a lot of other people actually took that attitude, then this fight would be a lot easier. But it is good to see there's so many passionate people out there about it.
Yeah. Respect to every one of them, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think on that note, we'll wrap up before my internet fails me once more. Thank you all again for watching and the comments. Much love to you all.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Looks like we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Sweet.
Thank you all for watching.
Take it easy, everyone.
Be back.
See you guys.
Educate, promote, advocate. Everybody's job. Everybody's job. Bye-bye.